Hey everyone, welcome to our deep dive today, all about 10x thinking.
Yeah,
That whole idea of setting goals 10 times bigger than what feels, normal or comfortable.
right.
We're going to be unpacking 10x is easier than 2x by Dan Sullivan and Benjamin Hardy.
Okay.
In this book, it argues that aiming for these massive goals actually makes things simpler and better and even more fun.
Sounds kind of counterintuitive, right?
It does. It really does.
Yeah, it kind of goes against, I think, how a lot of us have been taught to think.
Right.
We're conditioned to focus on incremental growth, small steps, achievable goals.
Yeah.
But Sullivan and Hardy, they challenge that whole framework.
Yeah.
And they say, what if aiming 10x higher actually streamlines your path and then unlocks this whole new level of success and fulfillment?
Okay, so let's unpack that first claim from the book, 10x is simpler.
Okay.
How can aiming for something so massive actually make things easier?
Right.
Because that just feels like it'd be the opposite.
It is a very mind-bending idea. But think of it this way.
Okay.
Imagine you're trying to increase your website traffic by 10%.
Okay.
You could come up with a huge list of all these small little tweaks and tactics.
Yeah.
But that often leads to that analysis paralysis.
Right.
Too many options, not enough clarity.
Yeah.
But now what if instead you aimed for a 10x increase in your website traffic?
Okay.
Suddenly, all those minor little tweaks, they become irrelevant.
Right.
You're forced to just focus on the truly game-changing strategies,
Yeah.
the ones with the potential for that exponential growth.
Yeah.
It narrows your focus
Right.
and forces you to make bolder decisions.
So it's less about doing more things and more about doing the right things.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense.
It's about prioritizing
Yeah.
those actions that are really going to have the biggest impact. The vital 20% that drives 80% of the results.
Right.
Pareto principle in action.
Yes.
And 10x thinking forces you to become laser focused on that crucial 20% and then just let go of all the less impactful 80%.
Okay, I'm starting to see the appeal here.
Good.
The book also claims that 10x is better.
Yes.
So what exactly makes it better?
Yeah.
Is it just about bigger results?
Right.
Or is there something deeper at play?
It's definitely about results.
Yeah.
But it's also about this fundamental shift in your mindset and your approach to things.
All right.
So 10x thinking forces you to question your identity, your beliefs about what you're even capable of.
Right.
It challenges your standards,
Yep.
the minimum bar you set for your thoughts and your actions.
So it's almost like you're shedding this old, limited version of yourself.
Right.
To make space for this more ambitious, capable version.
Yes.
Is that kind of what they mean by better?
I think that's a great way to put it. It's
Okay.
about constantly pushing beyond those perceived limitations. To guide this whole transformation, Sullivan and Hardy outline a 4-step process for 10x growth.
Okay, great.
The first step is committing to transformation.
Okay.
So genuinely desiring that growth and being open to the changes that it requires.
That sounds simple enough, but I imagine a lot of people get stuck right there.
Oh, yeah.
It's easy to say you want growth,
Right.
but actually, embracing the discomfort that comes with it is a whole other challenge.
Totally. You're absolutely right. It's about stepping outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Which brings us to step number 2, courage to shed.
Okay.
This is where you let go of your 2x goals,
Right.
those limiting beliefs and outdated standards that aren't serving you anymore.
Yeah.
It's about embracing the discomfort of change
Hmm.
and shedding the old to make way for the new.
So it's like a process of letting go of what's familiar,
Yes.
even if it feels safe, to make space for something bigger and better.
Right.
But how do you actually do that?
Yeah.
That sounds a bit abstract.
That's where the third step comes in.
Okay.
Discover new capabilities.
Okay.
So as you start taking action towards your 10x goal, you inevitably encounter challenges
Right.
that force you to develop new skills and strategies.
Okay.
And you start to realize that you're capable of way more than you initially thought.
So it's like this cycle of growth.
Exactly.
You set a bold goal, you face challenges, you develop these new capabilities,
Right.
and that empowers you to set even bigger goals.
Exactly. It's about constant evolution.
Hmm.
And as you overcome those challenges and you achieve those seemingly impossible goals, you develop the final step, which is profound self-confidence.
Okay.
This belief in yourself to go 10x again and again.
Wow.
And this isn't about arrogance.
Right.
It's about knowing your potential and trusting your ability to achieve it.
It's about knowing deep down that you can handle whatever comes your way, even if it seems daunting at first.
Precisely. And what's really interesting is that this whole journey of 10x growth, it doesn't have to be this grueling uphill battle. In fact, the book claims that 10x is more fun.
Now that's where I get really intrigued.
Yeah.
How can aiming for something 10 times bigger actually make the process more enjoyable?
Right.
It seems counterintuitive.
It really does. It's all about shifting your mindset from scarcity to abundance.
Okay.
From focusing on what you lack to celebrating what you have and what you can create. The authors introduced this really fascinating idea of living in the gain versus living in the gap.
Okay, I'm all ears.
All right.
What's the difference between these two mindsets?
Yeah.
And how do they relate to having more fun?
So people who live in the gain, they focus on the progress they've made.
Okay.
Like from their starting point. They have this abundance mindset. They're celebrating each win along the way.
Okay.
Appreciating how far they've come.
Right.
Gap folks, on the other hand, they're constantly measuring themselves against some idealized future. Always feeling like they're behind.
So it's like the difference between enjoying the journey and constantly chasing this like elusive destination.
Exactly.
One is fueled by gratitude and excitement, while the other is driven by scarcity and this sense of lack.
You got it. And 10x thinking thrives in a wanting mindset, not just a needing mindset.
Okay.
It's about desiring abundance and growth for their own sake, not just because you feel like you're missing something.
It's like being pulled forward by passion and purpose,
Yeah.
not pushed by a sense of scarcity or obligation.
Yes, exactly.
That makes a lot of sense.
Now, this ties directly to the idea of discovering your unique ability,
Okay.
the thing that you can do that nobody else can. That special skill or talent or perspective that sets you apart.
I love that concept. It's about identifying your zone of genius, the area where you naturally excel and can create the most impact. But how does that tie into the wanting mindset and having more fun?
So think about it this way.
Okay.
When you're focused on your unique ability, you're developing and leveraging that special skill, talent, whatever it is. It naturally fosters a sense of excitement and purpose. It feels less like work and more like play.
Right.
You know, you're not just going through the motions.
Yeah.
You're expressing your authentic self and you're creating something truly valuable.
So it's like you're tapping into this wellspring of passion and creativity that's already within you.
Yes.
And when you're in that flow state, pursuing your unique ability, it doesn't feel like a grind. It feels like an adventure.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay.
And when you combine that sense of adventure with a wanting mindset, that desire for abundance and growth, it creates this really powerful cocktail for both success and fulfillment.
Oh, I'm really starting to see the magic of this 10x mindset. It's not just about achieving bigger results. It's about transforming your entire approach to life and work.
Exactly. Now, let's move on to some practical strategies for incorporating 10x thinking into your life.
Okay.
And we'll start with how you manage your time and energy.
Okay.
The book actually suggests abandoning the traditional linear approach to time management.
You mean the whole work harder, longer hours mentality?
Yeah, exactly.
Tell me more about this nonlinear approach. It sounds intriguing.
So think more like an athlete or a performer.
Yeah.
They use what's called a nonlinear approach.
Okay.
It's all about cycling through these three distinct modes: preparation, performance, and recovery.
Okay, break it down for me. What does that look like in real life?
So preparation is about strategically setting the stage for success.
Okay.
It's about gathering the resources, the knowledge, the support you need before diving into like a task or a project.
Okay.
Think of it as like laying a strong foundation.
So instead of just reacting to whatever comes your way, you're proactively setting yourself up for peak performance.
Exactly. And then comes performance mode.
Okay.
This is where you're fully engaged. You're in the zone, laser focused on the task at hand.
Right.
But here's the key.
Okay.
Even the most driven individuals, they can't sustain that peak performance without proper recovery.
That's where a lot of us get tripped up.
Yeah.
We buy into the hustle harder mentality and end up burning ourselves out.
Yeah.
So tell me more about this recovery mode. What does that involve?
So recovery is about intentionally giving yourself time to rest, recharge, and just replenish your energy.
Okay.
It's about stepping away from work to engage in activities that nourish your mind, your body, your spirit.
So we're talking about things like getting enough sleep, spending time in nature, connecting with loved ones, pursuing hobbies, those sorts of things.
Exactly. Sullivan even recommends scheduling free days.
Hmm.
Entire days dedicated to just rest and rejuvenation.
Wow.
Now, this might seem kind of counterintuitive,
Yeah.
especially in our always-on culture,
Right.
but it's absolutely essential for preventing burnout and sustaining that high performance over the long haul.
Think of those free days as like an investment in your future productivity. It allows you to come back to your work feeling refreshed, recharged, and ready to tackle those 10x challenges.
Now, shifting gears a bit, another key strategy from the book is empowering your team,
Okay.
or building a team if you're a solopreneur.
Okay, so this is about delegating effectively. Letting go of the need to control every aspect of your work and trusting others to handle tasks that don't require your unique expertise.
That's right. It's about recognizing that you don't have to do everything yourself. In
Yeah,
fact, trying to do everything yourself is a recipe for burnout and overwhelm.
right.
By empowering others to handle those tasks that don't fall within your zone of genius, you free yourself up to focus on those activities that really move the needle.
Yeah.
That 20%, that generates 80% of the results.
This is where that Pareto principle comes into play again.
Exactly.
Focusing on the vital few and letting go of the need to micromanage everything.
Precisely. And even if you're not working with like a team, you can still apply this principle.
Hmm.
By outsourcing tasks or utilizing tools and technology to automate certain processes.
Right.
The key is to be really strategic with your time and energy,
Mm.
focusing on those activities that require your unique skills and talents.
So it's about working smarter, not harder, leveraging your resources effectively, and focusing your energy where it will have the biggest impact.
Exactly. Now remember, this is just a taste of the practical strategies outlined in 10x is easier than 2x.
Right.
There's a wealth of wisdom in that book, and we encourage you to dive in and explore further.
Yeah.
But let's shift gears again and talk about one of the most powerful yet often overlooked aspects of 10x thinking: mindset.
I was hoping we'd circle back to mindset. It seems like it's at the heart of everything we've been talking about.
You're absolutely right. Mindset is the foundation upon which everything else is built.
Hmm.
You know, it's what determines how we perceive the world, how we interpret our experiences, and ultimately how we act.
So what are some of the key mindset shifts required for 10x thinking? What does a 10x mindset actually look like?
So one of the most important shifts is from scarcity to abundance.
Okay.
Instead of focusing on what you lack, focus on what you have and what you can create.
This is about adopting a can-do attitude, believing in your ability to achieve great things, and approaching challenges with a sense of optimism and possibility.
Right. You have to believe that there's enough to go around.
Yeah.
Success is not a zero-sum game,
Right.
and that your opportunities are truly limitless.
Hmm.
It's about trusting that the universe will support you in achieving your goals,
Yeah.
even if you can't see the entire path laid out in front of you.
It's about having faith in yourself and in the abundance of the universe.
Another important mindset shift is from fear to courage.
Okay.
Now, fear is a natural part of the human experience,
Right.
especially when you're pushing your limits, stepping outside of your comfort zone.
Sure.
But fear can be paralyzing if you let it control you.
Yeah.
A 10x mindset requires you to acknowledge the fear, but choose courage instead.
So it's about feeling the fear and doing it anyway, taking action despite the discomfort, because you know that growth and expansion lie on the other side of that fear.
Exactly. Fear often masks opportunity.
Mhm.
It's a sign that you're on the right track,
Right.
that you're pushing yourself to grow and evolve.
Yeah.
So embrace that discomfort, take a deep breath, and take that next step.
It's about remembering that you are more capable than you think,
Yeah.
and that courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to act despite it.
Now, another key mindset shift is from limitation to possibility.
Okay.
It's about challenging those limiting beliefs that hold you back.
Yeah.
Those voices of doubt that tell you you're not good enough, smart enough, worthy enough to achieve your dreams.
We all have those inner critics, those
Mhm.
voices that can sabotage our efforts. But 10x thinking is about silencing those voices and replacing them with messages of empowerment and possibility.
Exactly. It's about rewriting your internal narrative,
Yeah.
shifting from a story of limitation to a story of boundless potential. And one of the best ways to do that is to surround yourself with people who believe in you,
Right.
people who support your vision,
Yeah.
encourage you to reach for your highest potential.
It's about building a support system that lifts you up, celebrates your wins, and helps you navigate the inevitable challenges that come with pursuing any ambitious goal. It's like having a cheerleading squad in your corner, reminding you of your strength and resilience when you forget.
And remember, 10x thinking is not just about achieving external success.
Right.
It's about becoming the best version of yourself.
Hmm.
It's about living a life that is aligned with your values, your passions, and your purpose.
It's about making a meaningful contribution to the world, leaving a lasting legacy that extends far beyond your own lifetime.
Now, as we wrap up this part of our deep dive into 10x thinking, let's talk about another crucial element, self-care.
Self-care is so important, yet it's often the first thing to go when we get busy or stressed. But I have a feeling you're going to tell me that self-care is actually essential for 10x thinking.
You're absolutely right. 10x thinking is not about burning yourself out in pursuit of your goals.
Right.
It's about creating a sustainable lifestyle
Yeah.
that supports your long-term success and happiness.
This is about nourishing your mind, body, and spirit so you have the energy and resilience to tackle those 10x challenges.
Exactly. It's about integrating self-care practices into your daily routine. Getting enough sleep, eating nutritious foods, moving your body regularly, spending time in nature, connecting with loved ones, and engaging in activities that bring you joy and relaxation.
It's about creating a life that is both ambitious and balanced. A life that allows you to pursue your dreams while also taking care of your well-being.
Now, building on that idea, let's talk about another key ingredient in the 10x recipe, continuous learning.
This is about expanding our knowledge, developing new skills, and staying ahead of the curve in a rapidly changing world.
That's right. 10x thinkers, they are committed to lifelong learning. They're constantly seeking out new information, experimenting with new approaches, expanding their horizons. Right.
They know that knowledge is power, and that the more they learn, the more they grow, and the more they can contribute to the world.
So it's about cultivating a curious mind, a thirst for knowledge, and a willingness to step outside our comfort zones to learn and grow.
Exactly. Make time for reading, attending workshops, listening to podcasts like this one, and engaging in conversations with people who challenge your thinking and inspire you to see the world in new ways.
It's about being a student of life, embracing a growth mindset, and continuously seeking opportunities for self-improvement.
You know, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have.
But I think it's important to reiterate that 10x thinking, it's not a destination, it's a journey. There's no finish line, no point at which you've arrived.
It's about continuously evolving, pushing your limits, and striving for greater heights, not just in terms of external achievements, but also in terms of personal growth and fulfillment.
Right. It's about embracing the process of growth, the ups and downs, the challenges and triumphs that come with pursuing a life of extraordinary achievement.
Right.
And, you know, one of the most rewarding aspects of 10x thinking is the impact it can have on others.
I was just thinking about that. When you achieve 10x growth in your own life, you inspire those around you to do the same. You become a role model, a beacon of possibility, demonstrating that extraordinary achievement is within reach for anyone who dares to dream big and take bold action.
It's like a chain reaction of inspiration, a wave of possibility that spreads outward, empowering others to step into their own greatness and make a meaningful impact on the world.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I'm curious to know, what do you think is the most common misconception about 10x thinking? What do people often get wrong about it?
That's a great question. I think one of the biggest misconceptions is that 10x thinking is all about working harder and longer hours.
Which, as we've discussed, is not the case at all. It's about working smarter, not harder. It's about leveraging your time and energy strategically, focusing on the vital few, and letting go of the need to do everything yourself.
Exactly. Another misconception is that 10x thinking is only for a select few.
For those who are like naturally gifted or who have certain advantages in life.
Right.
But the truth is, anyone can embrace a 10x mindset and achieve extraordinary results, regardless of their background or their current circumstances.
It's about tapping into that potential that lies within each of us, that capacity for greatness that's often dormant or unrealized.
And you know, another common misconception is that 10x thinking is all about achieving massive wealth and material success.
Which, while it can certainly be a byproduct of 10x thinking, is not the ultimate goal.
Exactly. 10x thinking is about living a life of purpose and meaning. A life that is aligned with your values and your passions.
Yeah.
It's about making a contribution to the world that is bigger than yourself.
So as we move into the final part of our deep dive, what are some key takeaways you'd like listeners to keep in mind?
First and foremost, remember that 10x thinking is a mindset.
Okay.
It's a way of approaching life and work with boldness, ambition, and a belief in your own limitless potential. It's about setting audacious goals, embracing challenges as opportunities for growth,
Yeah.
and continuously pushing beyond your perceived limitations.
It's about thinking bigger, acting bolder, and expecting more from yourself and from life.
And remember, 10x thinking is not just about achieving external success, it's about becoming the best version of yourself. It's about living a life that is aligned with your values, your passions, and your purpose.
It's about making a meaningful contribution to the world, leaving a lasting legacy that extends far beyond your own lifetime.
Now, as we head into the final part of our deep dive, I want to leave you with this thought.
Okay.
What would your life look like if you embraced a 10x mindset in every area?
What would be possible if you dared to dream bigger, set bolder goals, and take more courageous action?
Well, I think a good place to start would be to identify one area of your life where you want to see massive growth. It could be your career, relationships, health, finances, anything that feels like, oh, this is ripe for transformation. And then ask yourself, what would 10x growth look like in this area?
Yeah.
And don't censor yourself. Just let your imagination run wild.
It's like giving yourself permission to dream big,
Yes.
to break free from those self-imposed limitations and envision a future that feels truly expansive.
Exactly. Once you have that vision, start breaking it down into smaller, more manageable steps. And those become your milestones, those guideposts along your 10x journey.
So it's not about trying to figure out every single detail right away, but rather creating a roadmap for success, one step at a time.
And don't be afraid to experiment along the way. 10x thinking is all about embracing a growth mindset,
Right.
learning from your experiences, and continuously refining your approach.
That makes sense. It's about being adaptable, being willing to adjust your course as you learn and grow.
You got it. Now, as we wrap up our deep dive, I want to circle back to something we touched on earlier.
Okay.
The idea that 10x is actually more fun.
This is the part that really resonates with me. How can aiming 10 times higher make the journey more enjoyable? It seems counterintuitive.
It's about shifting your focus from the gap to the gain.
Right.
When you're constantly measuring yourself against some idealized future, you're always striving, always feeling like you're falling short. But when you shift your focus to the progress you've made, to the wins you've already achieved, it creates a sense of gratitude and momentum.
It's like celebrating those small victories along the way, acknowledging how far you've come, rather than fixating on how much further you have to go.
Exactly. And when you combine that gain mindset with a deep connection to your unique ability, it becomes even more enjoyable. You're not just chasing a goal. You're expressing your authentic self, doing what you love, making a unique contribution to the world.
So it's not about forcing yourself to do something you hate just because you think it'll lead to success. It's about aligning your goals with your passions and using your unique talents to create something truly meaningful.
That's the sweet spot. And when you find that alignment, the work itself becomes a source of joy and fulfillment.
That's a powerful message. I think a lot of people have bought into the idea that success requires sacrifice. That you have to grind it out and endure a certain level of suffering to achieve your goals. But what you're suggesting is that it doesn't have to be that way.
You're absolutely right. 10x thinking is about breaking free from those limiting beliefs and embracing a more expansive, joyful approach to life and work.
So as we bring this deep dive to a close, what's one final thought you'd like to leave our listeners with?
I would encourage everyone listening to reflect on a time in their own lives when they experienced a 10x jump, a time when they achieved something that seemed impossible at the time. It could be anything, a major accomplishment at work, a personal breakthrough, a creative triumph. Everyone has those moments.
Those are the moments that remind us of our own potential, our capacity for greatness.
Exactly. They serve as proof that 10x thinking isn't just some abstract theory. It's a lived reality. We've all experienced those exponential leaps in the past. The key is to tap into that inner power more consistently, to make 10x thinking a habit, a way of life.
So it's about recognizing that we are all capable of extraordinary things, and that the 10x life is not just for a select few. It's available to anyone who's willing to embrace the challenge.
That's the essence of it. So go out there, Set those audacious goals, tap into your unique abilities, and just watch as your world expands in ways you never thought possible.
This has been such an inspiring conversation. Thanks for guiding us through the world of 10x thinking.
Of course, my pleasure.
And to all of our listeners out there, we encourage you to keep exploring, keep growing, and keep reaching for those 10x goals. We'll see you on our next deep dive.